Peace and welcome to the culture right here on the Black Star Network. Folks, we got some great conversations coming up for you. First up, let's talk about what's happening in Uvalde, how police are saying that was an abject failure of law enforcement to handle the situation the way they did. We'll talk to you about the details and what came out of that testimony from the Department of Public Safety Director, Mr. Nick Shaw. Also, we'll talk about fundraising Trump. The fact is that there are a number of major companies that have fundraised, that have raised money for President Trump, gave him and other election deniers campaign money. The question is, how should the American people respond? And most importantly, do you know the names? I'm going to break down some of those big companies. Also, is celebrity feminism good for the culture? We're seeing that a lot of women are saying that they're feminists, and we're seeing that brands now are taking on the cause. But is it really pushing the cause of making sure that women are seen equally in all areas? We'll have that conversation. And is Beyonce back? Is Bey back? She dropped a new single, and check it out, folks. I'm going to share it with you and give my take from our culture crew. So that and a whole lot more. So stay with us. It's all happening on today's edition of The Culture right here on the Black Star Network. Let's go. Folks, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have these conversations with you. So let's jump right in. Folks, there has been a major hearing that's been taking place in Texas today, a hearing that is focused on how did the police handle the Uvalde tragedy where 19 children were shot and killed and 2 adults were shot and killed by a gunman who ran into a school, closed the door, and committed mass murder. Now, there has been a number of police officers who have a number of criticisms against police officers about how they handled that situation, especially given there were a number of officers who had missed the opportunity to stop the shooter even before he stepped foot into the school. And then there were some conversations and criticism and great scrutiny about once the shooter got into the school, why didn't the police who were already in the school, who were outside of the school, why they did not stop? And essentially, it was determined as of right now that officers' lives serves as the priority more than children's lives. I want to bring in our culture crew, Elise Winnie, who serves as the host of Millennials Anonymous podcast that you can hear on streaming platforms. Lise, good to hear from you, sis. How you feeling this afternoon?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. All right, Lise, when you look at this situation in Uvalde, I mean, it's one thing to have children's lives taken in the way that they did. But it's a whole other thing when you start to learn about the details of where the police were, how they responded, and for a number of minutes, they did not go inside of that building, even though. And I want to post this, a King Keenan. Let's put this quote on the screen because this is something from the Department of Public Safety. This was the story that came out of USA Today. They said within minutes of the shooter entering, there were enough officers there to, quote, isolate, distract, and neutralize the subject. This is from the Department of Public Safety Director Steve McCraw, who told a state Senate committee hearing today that happened. Mr. McCraw blamed the incident commander, Pete Arredondo, the school district's police chief, for stopping officers from quickly confronting the gunman. He said the on-scene commander decided to place the lives of officers before the lives of children. Wow. This is a big one, Lise. What's your take on this? Hearing it, abject failure, prioritizing the lives of officers over children.
Of course, it's sad and it's devastating to think that those children and teachers could have been
Yeah.
saved had there been a different outcome. Now that we're seeing the video, like they had the ballistic shields within 3 minutes of actually entering the building, they could have stopped the the suspect from killing all of these children and teachers. And then they were supposed to go through a window, which the chief can be heard actually saying that they were going to go through the window in order to neutralize the suspect, and still didn't do that. I think that this shows the issue that we have with policing. And this is why I think that we need to have a broader conversation when it comes to police reform, because this is an issue with training. The officers are taught in order to preserve thyself above anything else. And so their safety always tends to come first in their training. So I think that we do need to look at how we train officers and who's actually in charge, because the officers actually wanted, when we listen to or get some of the actual audio from the body camera footage, it sounded like a lot of the officers wanted to go in. We were hearing that the police chief, Arredondo, I believe is his name, you could hear him saying that he walked around for 10 minutes looking for a key to unlock the door when there's not even any evidence that anybody even tried to open it. Wow. There's so many issues that are going on in this case, and it's unfortunate that all of these children's lives were lost because of the incompetence and selfishness of the police chief there.
And you know, when you're talking about, I mean, again, this is Monday morning quarterbacking, right? Like, you know, you think about all the coulda, shoulda, woulda type of scenarios, and instead of just thinking, damn, man, why didn't you just bust in the door
and even try to open it?
And try to, I mean, looking for keys, looking for the right way, waiting for the right moment. I mean, upon entering, the shooter went in and within a matter of minutes started to shooting children with this high capacity semi-automatic rifle. And you know, it's mind blowing. You're saying that we need to have a bigger conversation about training, which I believe that we do. But at the same time, I'm also looking at, you know, what was the real root of what was the basis of setting up on the outside of on the perimeter of the school? What was the basis of waiting in the hallway and not doing anything? Like, you know what I mean? Like what are you doing? This is what Mr. McCraw said. He said that the inexplicable conduct by the Uvalde School District Police Chief, Mr. Arredondo, was antithetical to 2 decades of police training since the Columbine High School massacre, which dictates that officers confront active shooters as quickly as possible. So you got 20 years of experience and situations, and you decide in your indecisiveness, you decide not to do anything to try to quote unquote wait for the right moment. Here's the other part that got me, Lise. This is the police. You have a number of different law enforcement agencies that were present on the scene. Of course, you got school police, you got the police from Uvalde, the Uvalde local police. You had state agencies there, right? Mm-hmm. All of these officers are trained on how to handle a situation, right? This was only one dude. This is only one man. All these police officers, and you couldn't stop this massacre from happening. And you know, you say, okay, you couldn't even stop the killing of 10. You could have. I mean, after the first couple of rounds, you could have. All right, let's go, let's move in, bust through the windows. I mean, and this is the other thing that Mr. McCraw said. The officers had weapons, the children had none. The officers had body armor, the children had none. The officers had training. The subject had none. 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 8 seconds. That's how long children waited, and the teachers waited in room 111 to be rescued.
And that's absolutely, it's unacceptable at no point. And like when I'm saying with the training of officers, because this clearly shows that there was some level of fear. Whether this was the fact that the
That's
officers
true.
underneath of him didn't want to go against rank. We see this time and time and time and time again, where there's people like, you know, we should be doing something, or this is wrong. We saw that when we see officers kind of like they look past things that are going wrong in front of them. So at this point, we also need to look at the police chief, but we also need to look at Governor Abbott. When did he know, and when did he know it? Because he came out and he actually praised them. They have not been forthcoming with this information. I think there's only one senator or state senator there that is actually trying to get this information out to the people. This is like they don't want to really give any of this information. So what did he know, and when did he know it, and how much of it does he know?
Right. But you know what? I'm gonna keep my eyes on the prize on this one. Of course, I'm not a fan of Governor Abbott at all, but I'm going to keep my eyes on the prize of the chief of police there, Mr. Arredondo. I'm gonna keep my eyes on the police officers there. You know what I mean? Like I want heat on that, because that is absolutely ridiculous. That is ridiculous. I mean, you know, SWAT, for example. SWAT is trained to come into a situation and remedy the situation in a matter of minutes. Bust through windows. Soon as you hear the first shot, they coming through the windows. They busting through doors. They coming through walls if damn near, looking like the Kool-Aid Man or some stuff, like crazy stuff. Like they are doing everything in a matter of minutes, Lise. And then
that's why we do need to look.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lise.
No, I said that's why we need to really look at who was giving in what order and why. So like we have all of these different units there. We have all of these different departments there, and no one did anything. Like it was like all the training and information went out the window. This is not okay. So when we're finding out what happened, and we can't even, during this time, we don't have his body camera footage. We don't have any information from the police chief at all. It's all coming from officers that were actually around him. So we don't really know. I don't know if we really know what he was doing at all, and how the actual chain of command worked, because this makes no sense that you have all of these agencies, all of these people, and those babies were in there being slaughtered.
Come on.
Slaughtered.
Right. Let's go to some of the comments that folks are posting. Folks, you can post your comments on our YouTube page and our Facebook page. And I want to hear what you have to say about this situation. I mean, I think that it's pretty clear that Uvalde Police Department failed, not just the community of Uvalde, but they failed the country in handling this like trained law enforcement officers should handle a situation like this. Let's go to Janae. Janae checked in. Janae, always good to hear from you, sis. You said this is the kind of matter that lawsuits are warranted for. I hope they sue for negligence, malpractice. They completely failed to serve and protect. Absolutely. Again, though, hey, Janae, you probably feel the same way, and Lisa, you probably do as well. It's your fourth grader. They're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can get $1 bazillion. You know what I mean? Like you can get a hefty amount. They're gone.
Yeah, and this is why and
it's like you really probably could have done something beforehand.
3 minutes. Within 3 minutes.
Within 3 minutes, you really could have done something. I don't care if you got to shoot through the window. You really could have done something. You know what I mean? I don't care if you got to throw some type of special gas into the room. You could have done something.
Yeah, and I think they did have one officer that had a shot, and he said he didn't want to take the shot because there were children around, which is understandable. But
understandable. You're talking about the officer. Was that the officer that said he had a shot before he walked into the school?
Yes. Yeah.
I've read that.
Yeah.
I read that. And I thought about that myself, and I was like, he said it was children around. Man, I get it. And here's the thing. This is the thing, because I've never served in law enforcement, but I understand that there's great pressure when you have a situation like this. That had to be a split-second decision that had to be made because one, the shooter was a moving target. He wasn't standing there waiting to be shot. He was entering the school. Two, you do have children around, but you got to take the shot. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta weigh the pros and cons. Like, okay, I might hit one child. You might hit one child versus letting him go inside that building and killing nearly 20 children.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have to think about it like that, I think. And split second decision. But when you saw him walking into the building with the guns out, got to take the shot.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the comments. Folks, post your comments, and we love to hear from you. Mike, my man Mike V, checking in. Mike, good to hear from you, bro. What's interesting is that they defend no-knock warrants as justifiable, facts, in killing our folk, but are ambiguous and active shooters in an open carry state. Go figure. Right. That's the hypocrisy or the double standard, least, or that's really what it is. It's like if this was a different scenario, right? Like you busting people's doors for no knock warrants. You busting the wrong doors sometimes, right? As police, you busting somebody's house. Oh man, wrong address. Destroy the place. You might kill somebody. You know what I mean? You just go through and just take over.
Yeah, I think the difference is that they're walking into the whole purpose of the no-knock warrant is to catch you off guard. So they feel like they have an advantage, whereas you are walking into an active shooting in situation. So I think their fear came out. I'm sure it's a terrifying situation, but those officers, think about those babies who were in that room. They had no defense whatsoever, and the amount of bullets that went into those children. I mean, to think about that, they could not identify them but by their clothes. Do you know how many bullets that took to go through those babies?
I can imagine. I couldn't
Unacceptable.
imagine.
Unacceptable.
I mean, I could not imagine. I'm gonna be honest with you. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't see the picture. I would not want to see the pictures.
No.
I would not want to be on a scene trying to process the evidence. I could not imagine that. That would probably be the first and last day I would serve as a police officer. I couldn't go to
scene investigator or any.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I would be like, you know what? I can't do this. I can't do this. Tiana checked in. You asked the question, Tiana, which I think is a big question, and we'll see where he shows up. You said, where is the police chief? Is he hiding because he knew he messed up? Oh, yeah, I mean, he could be. He knew he messed up the day after. And this is how bad he knew he messed up. When the children are calling when the children dialed 911 from inside the school, begging for police to come to the scene, and they're literally outside the window and outside the doors.
I don't think he knew. I think he knew he messed up that day, but he knew he was caught the next day.
Of course.
They tried to cover it up. Like, that's why the way that it came out was they did the right thing. They didn't have equipment. They didn't have shields. They didn't have guns. They didn't have training. And then we found out all of that was untrue. They got caught. But that wasn't necessarily because the intention was to keep this facade up that they didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
When they did.
They absolutely did. Janelle, let's hear what you got to say, sis. Good. Thank you, Tiana, for checking in. Janelle, thank you for checking in. Always good to hear from you. You said the Supreme Court has upheld that police officers do not have a constitutional duty to put their lives in danger for someone that is not in their custody. I couldn't, because I don't know that part, I couldn't speak on it. But the first thing that comes to my mind, at least on when Janelle's point is, when you become an officer, that's your duty. It's an unwritten duty. It's an unwritten requirement that in the moment of danger, you put your life on the line to save other people. That's policing.
That morally should be what it is, but that's not what they're taught. So we need to look at that.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's why certain people don't become police officers, because they know that they might face a scenario where they're going to have to put their life in front of their life. It takes the back seat rather, versus saving a life of somebody else. Like they know that. You know that. That's the first thing. Like, how do you as a police officer say, no, man, if there's a danger, you run it. You got the badge, you got the gun.
But this happened also. It was a shooting a couple of years ago. I want to say it was in Colorado, in a school in Colorado, and the resource officer ran away from the shooting. This is starting to become a trend that we're seeing.
It's like a trend. So what are you becoming a police officer for? What's the point? I mean, seriously. I mean, it's like you're enlisting in the military and you running away from the conflict.
It happens though. People.
I know. I get what you're saying, Lise. I get what you're saying, but that's nobody. Look. Nobody forces you to become a police officer. You know what I mean? That's a choice. That is a voluntary decision. That is not like, oh, you got to become a police officer. It's already embedded in the job that you put your life out there to save other people. That's already embedded. I think my man Real Brooklyn said it. Let's post Real Brooklyn's and I appreciate you, Danielle. I don't know about that part of the conversation, but I do know you're supposed to put your life first in saving other people. Real Brooklyn, you checked in. All these public officials talking about training or no training. You know what you can't train? Bravery. Boom. Those POS, I can't. Those POS cops had no bravery whatsoever.
That's a great point. But the issue is, you know how many people aren't brave? There's a lot of us that aren't brave. We would have like two cops.
Let me tell you. I'm not, look, I don't expect you to be Superman. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. But see, my thinking is this. Like, and I think I can, I mean, I have put myself personally, I have put myself in situations and trying to diffuse a situation, and I put my own livelihood at risk. You know what I'm saying? Because there were other people, seniors and young people and stuff. Like, it's just something that you do. Like, you know, we talk about heroes and all of those things. Like, you got children in there. If a man is walking up, if I'm a police officer, I got a gun just like he got a gun. I got armor. He ain't got no armor.
You got a shield.
I got a shield. Yeah. He ain't got that. And I damn sure know how to shoot. I got the training. You know what I mean? And I know you about to walk up in an elementary school. I don't care who's in that elementary school. You're walking into a school full of babies. Bro, I got to take you. I got to take you out. I got to deal with that. And I'm not, and guess what? Not going to have no regard for you. I'm not losing no sleep.
Yeah.
Because I know what I did was the right thing to do.
Absolutely.
Not losing no sleep. I'm not going to be like, oh man, I shouldn't have. No. You walking in a school full of babies. I got babies. Sorry, bro. We'll send your mom a card or something.
I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, the police, they completely failed. This goes against all protocol and standards. Like they said, since Columbine, this is not how this is supposed to go down. They failed those children. They failed those parents. They failed the community. But I think at the end of the day, we do need them to be held accountable. The police chief needs to be fired. He needs to be gone. And then we do need to look at right now they're looking at exactly what happened and then go from steps from there. Like, should there be more done besides just firing some of these folks for the negligence that happened there? And then after that, we do need to make sure that each and every officer, maybe this is a hiring thing. Maybe you're on to something, because I've been saying this for a while. Maybe the testing and training that we have to become an officer, maybe it needs to be adjusted and changed just a bit. And then we have children that go through these active shooter drills every year in school. There's no way that we have our children out here preparing for this and we do not have the police department preparing for this as well. That makes absolutely no sense.
Absolutely. I want to get one more comment in because I like what Nicole had to say. Nicole Spicer, excuse me. Always good to hear from you. Nicole, you said something. I think this is what happens. You said if a parent was able to go into the school and get their child out with a mass shooting in the building, but those who are trained, had guns, equipment, etc., didn't go in, unacceptable. If our children, Lise, are in grave danger, guess who else going to be in danger? The one that's doing the one that's perpetrating the crime.
Right.
I'm serious. I'm damn serious. He's shooting. We going right up in that piece.
They wanted to.
You know what I'm saying? The adrenaline and your love, with those two things mixed together, when you got adrenaline and love in there, you ain't, man, please. He'd be so afraid. He couldn't even get the gun off. Because you're coming in there, you ain't coming in there to talk. You come in here to take his damn head off. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely. That's what it is. Like, nah, I don't care if you got the gun. You don't have enough time to pull the trigger.
Yes.
Like, if I know my children are in a building, bruh, I'm taking your life. It's just that simple. I'm taking your life. And guess what? I'm coming through a window. You're going to be like, damn, I didn't even know Farajii had those skill sets. I'm like, man, please.
Yes.
I'm taking your life. It's just it's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is not playing. You're talking about children, man. This is so upsetting and so disheartening that you said it best. You said that it affects the community of Uvalde. I couldn't imagine living in it. I would have to move because now you feel like in a worst case scenario, you ain't going to save me. So how can you save me in any other scenario?
Right. Yeah.
No. The other thing is, very quickly, you remember the first news conference that Governor Abbott did have, and he praised the police and said that they acted heroically. And then he also went as far as to say that it could have been much worse.
Yeah. And he's blocking the information from coming out. Like I said, there's one state senator that is trying to get this information out. The rest of them, hush.
Let me tell you what not to say when somebody just lost their child in a vicious, violent way. It could have been much worse. It is worse.
Mm-hmm. And the psychological damage to the rest of those children and families.
It is worse. What are you talking about, Governor? Are you talking about the number of people now?
Yeah.
Because it is worse. How much worse are you talking about getting? He could have shot up the whole school. Yeah. That wouldn't have been possible. So for the space that he was in, the time that he did these horrific murders, that is the worst.
Yes.
All right. I hope the chief not only gets fired, I hope he gets brought up on charges in some way, shape, or form. There's got to be charges. And at least you tell me, I think you say you got a couple of officers in your family. There's got to be some charges when an officer fails to do their job in the line of duty. There has to be something that those officers can be charged with. Get them off.
They'll have to really prove it. And I think this is where the investigation is coming out because they're really trying to find out exactly what happened and who exactly is at fault and what could have been done. Right.
We will see how this situation turns out. Folks, we got to take a quick pause. When we come back, let's talk about the big lie. As of right now, the January 6th committee is still happening and still presiding over what happened and how President Trump used pressure to try to influence state officials to overturn the ballot counts in other parts of the 2020 election. Well, let me just have this conversation with you up next. We're going to talk about who is fundraising President Trump's big lie. I'm going to share with you those companies. And most importantly, what should the American people do? How should we respond when we hear that some of your favorite brands are still putting money into the hands of congressional people who are election deniers and even President Trump? Stay forward. Stay with us for that conversation up next here on The Culture on the Black Star Network. We'll be right back.
Verizon just gave us all a brand new iPhone 13.
We've been customers for years.
We got iPhone 13s too. Switched 2 minutes ago, literally right before this.
iPhone 13 on us on any unlimited plan for every customer, with plans starting at just $35. All on the network more people rely on.
Love our new Alexa.
It's a Buick.
Yeah, Alexa.
Buick.
Alexa.
It's a Buick.
It's an Alexa. It's a Buick. It's an Alexa. Coach, that's a Buick. That's an Alexa.
The Buick Enclave with available Alexa built-in.
Pull up a chair. Take your seat. The Black Tape. With me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and my new show, Get Wealthy, focuses on the things that your financial advisor and bank isn't telling you, but you absolutely need to know. So watch Get Wealthy on the Black Star Network.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Hey, Black, I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
All right, folks, as of right now, the January 6th committee is still happening. This is their fourth hearing to talk about the type of pressure former President Donald Trump did put on election officials in states such as Arizona and Georgia to try to overturn the election in those areas. Now, the question then becomes, what type of pressure did the president use? What were some of the discussions with his close advisors? And so that's being discussed right now with the January 6th committee. And tomorrow we will have a much deeper, and a fuller conversation. And of course, getting your reactions to it. But what I think is very interesting is that even though all of those things have been happening, there is another crisis I think that we need to talk about, which is the crisis of money and fundraising. The president and his colleagues are a bunch of election deniers, and how this is still happening, folks. Who is financing Trump's big lie caucus? That's the big conversation right now. This is a piece that was written by Alex Kingsbury, and he pointed out some things that I wanted to share with you because I think it's important. You have a number of Fortune 500 companies, major brands, that who initially, when January 6th took place, they said, you know what, we're not going to continue to put our money in the pockets of certain Republican officials. Now, let me just say this. Companies put their money in the pockets of both Democrats and Republicans. So they have no allegiance. They are not affiliated to either one of them. It for them is, I'm going to put my money in your pocket and their pocket, because whoever wins, my interests are still going to be considered in the big picture. That's a lesson for us. But there are some companies that, even in spite of what happened on January the 6th, even though they have publicly made statements saying, you know what, this is absolute insanity, there are companies that are continuing to fund election deniers in the Congress and in these upcoming primary races that we're seeing across the country. I want to share with you one of the things that Mr. Kingsbury wrote from his opinion piece. Let's put up this first quote, Keenan, because I think it opens this discussion up, and then we'll bring our culture crew members, Iman, as well as Lisa, into the discussion. But here's what Mr. Kingsbury said. He said, in the year and a half since the attack, Rivers of cash from once skittish donors have resumed flowing to election deniers, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes just 1,000, but it adds up. In the month of April alone, the last month for which data is available, Fortune 500 companies and trade organizations gave more than $1.4 million to members of Congress who voted not to certify the election results, according to an analysis by the transparency group accountable.us. AT&T led the pack, giving $95,000 to election objectors. Y'all hear me on this? Now, Mr. Kingsbury, you might say, well, why should we listen to Mr. Kingsbury? Mr. Kingsbury is a member of the New York Times editorial board. So I'm going to put his credentials out there in its proper context. But this is serious. Money is still being given to people who denied the election, who are continuing to promote this big lie. And these are companies that you and I may hold near and dear to our hearts. Let's bring in Lise Winnie, who serves as the host of Millennials Anonymous podcast. And we also are joined by Iman Heath, who is an activist and entrepreneur. Iman, welcome to the show. Good to see you again, sis.
Hey, family.
All right, good. All right, first and foremost, Lise, and I got more to share from Mr. Kingsbury, but to hear that Mr. Kingsbury pointed out this situation here, that you still have these big companies who was like, oh no, we're not going to support them. And then a couple of months pass, and then the support goes from zero and it starts climbing back up the charts. How should we respond to that?
I think that we do live in a society now where we hold people accountable, companies accountable for what they're putting out, whether it's endangering the environment, whether it's a social justice issue. So I think this is the same way, because this really affects or impacts our democracy. So with those companies like AT&T and those companies like Home Depot, I think it's time for us to start holding them accountable, because they're not necessarily donating directly to the Republican Party. They're donating to Republican candidates like Jim Jordan. And these are people that are repeatedly not coming. They're saying no, even though they're being called in to come into court. They're like, no, I'm not doing it. So we do need to hold them accountable by making sure that they know, like, we know what you did. We know that you're supporting these candidates. I don't know if this is a boycott of their products, or if this is more so just putting them on blast. I'm not exactly sure what that should look like just yet, but we do definitely need to hold them accountable.
Yeah, let me just share with you some of the companies that are strong supporters or are still supporting Republican candidates, Republican officials, and are still fundraising the big lie. A lot of money from companies such as Boeing, Koch Industries, Home Depot, you mentioned that, FedEx, UPS, and General Dynamics. Now take a look at this. Akeem, let's put the second quote up on the board, because I think this is important. All of those companies, with the exception of Koch Industries and FedEx, once said they refrained from donating to politicians who voted to reject the election results. Of the 249 companies that promised not to fund the 147 senators and representatives who voted against any of the results, fewer than half have stuck to their promises, according to CREW. And CREW is known as the Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington. That's what CREW stands for. So you still have a number of companies, Iman, that are still can't stick to their promise. Again, they're thinking about their interests. And this is where capitalism, once again, is put on the stand and has to be questioned. You mean to tell me this was such an attack on democracy that even these companies are saying, it was an attack, but
like Lee said, accountability. We have to apply more pressure with these companies when it comes to holding them accountable. The fact that we have to even put in a but, yeah, it was a riot, but yeah, this such and such happened, but softens the blow.
Right.
And do anything but call it what it was and not sugarcoat it. So these companies, I understand they may not, on the business side, you may not want to lose money. They may have made a promise. If they keep their end of the bargain, they'll get something large in return. So I understand business-wise not wanting to lose that. However, there's such thing as ethics. And I think that's the part that a lot of businesses forget. It's ethics. And then us as citizens in the society, like Lee said, we have to hold them accountable. Accountability means a lot. Hold your money. Don't buy the flowers at Home Depot. Go to your local floral shop or something if you want to, but we got to hold them accountable.
Oh, no doubt. Hey, Ken, let's go to the second quote. I want to go back to that quote. The first, it was a part prior to this quote, and I think this is it starts with all told. Yeah, here's the thing. Here's the thing. All told, as of this week, corporation. This is this week, folks. This is not like this is this week in June. Corporations and industry groups gave almost $32 million to the House and Senate members who voted to overturn the election and to the GOP. Committees focused on the party's congressional campaigns. The top 10 companies that gave monies to those members, according to Crew's analysis of campaign finance disclosures, are those companies that you see right there. Boeing, Home Depot, Valero Energy, Lockheed, UPS, Raytheon, Marathon Petroleum, General Motors, and FedEx. Like, these are all the companies that we all use.
UPS and FedEx, we see every day.
Every day. Every day. So the question that I have is, because, you know, at least you know it and I know it, when such situations like this, when companies do some type of egregious violation of the culture for Black people, we were like, oh, we should boycott the company. Do we boycott FedEx, Valero, Home Depot, Lockheed Martin, UPS, General Motors? Do we boycott those companies?
Well, I mean, and just to correct it's Coke, the Coke industry.
Coke.
So the Coke brothers, who they
Coke
are
Coke, whatever. No,
they are known for donating
Yes.
money to Republicans like Kevin Nunes,
Right.
and these are people that have always kind of pushed this narrative. They are big Trump supporters, and they believe in this big lie. So I think what we need to do is, beyond just boycotting, we do need to start to take money out of politics. And this is the issue that we have when you have all of this money, that these super PACs and all of these big corporations, because at the end of the day, the reason why they're so invested is because of things like taxes and making sure that people cannot unionize within their organizations, and make sure that they don't get good wages, and make sure that the company is always on the top. So this is why this is important. Although it may not say Black in front of it, who are the people that get shafted the most when we're looking at the labor market? Black and brown folks and people in lower income communities. This is something that we should be looking at, because that is why these companies like FedEx and these companies like Home Depot are still investing money into these candidates, because these are the candidates that push those laws.
So that puts us in a precarious position, then, Iman. Like, we are forced to do business with these companies that continue to finance, and this is the big concern that I have around the big lie and everything that came along with this January 6th situation. The concern is it's not going to die.
No,
I mean, we having these public hearings. Janine posted. And I think, Janine, you made a very good point. You said Congress is doing everyone a disservice by not holding these hearings during prime time. Most voters are not going online to watch the hearings after work. Yeah, a lot of people may not. People checked out after maybe the first or second hearing, right? But that's the problem. The problem is that even though we may not be talking about it, even though President Biden and Vice President Harris may say, oh, we need to, the committee is going to deal with that. Behind the scenes, money is still being funneled. So that means that these candidates, Iman, can still create commercials. They can still move forward on their agenda, because at the end of the day, they're not concerned about what the American people have already shown, that the disdain about what happened. they're not going to check themselves. They're only concerned about, I'm in the office now. Okay, fine. I'm going to be quiet about what happened on January the 6th because they're still being supported.
I'm glad that this is happening the way it is, honestly, because by not keeping this situation in the public eye as much as I think they should, to keep postponing these hearings, like you said, not airing it during prime time when people are able to actually watch, and not everyone has access to stream online. So just seeing how not secret, I won't say secretive.
We wouldn't have known this now.
Okay, so secretive. They're trying to keep this so much of a secret. Mind you, this was a big deal. When we were rioting during the Freddie Gray situation, we were on CNN all day long. So why, when the same situation happens, but on a much greater scale, with a majority different kind of people, why is this such a secret? Hopefully, this will show Americans, especially Black.
Because look. We said it. I mean, look, go back. You said, why is it such a secret?
No, Farajii. I know why it's such a secret.
No, I know that.
I'm just going to see how this is being handled, and we actually look into politics more than just, I'm not going to vote. I'm just going to leave it alone. No, we have to start learning about politics and the channels and how it funnels, so we can at least understand what the hell we're talking about and looking at.
And look, let me tell you, Trump knew that if he got enough people on board, enough credible people, even though that once they get on board with this big lie, they become discreditable. They lose credit. But he knew that if he got enough influential and credible people on board, that he was going to do a few things. One is he will create doubt and suspicion in the mind of the voter, right? So now that's one of the places that a lot of Republicans mostly believe that President Biden is in office illegitimately, even though they could not tell you or show and give you any real evidence. They're believing that because of what's been fed. That's one. But the second thing is there is a fundraising side of this. We talked about the fact that last week, and on Brother Roland's show, he talked about this in more detail, $250 million went into the coffers of Donald Trump, which is to use to help other candidates and himself as a result of the campaign of Stop the Steal and the Big Lie. So there's a financial gain that everybody that is in the circle gets from this situation. Companies are getting something in return, right? They might be in a state where Toyota, for example, might have a plant in a state where they need some tax incentives. They put a little something in the congressman's pocket, in the senator's pocket. And as a result of that, they get tax breaks. That type of thing. That's level of, some people might describe it as dark money. But the point is that you're looking at a situation where money is becoming so, like, it's not about principle. Hell, it ain't even about democracy. It's just about who can fatten the pockets, right, to get what they want to get out of the situation. And it's just that simple. Lise, talk to me.
Well, a couple things. One, I don't think that I think half of Americans believe that this, in fact, was absolutely ridiculous, appalling. This is unacceptable. And I think that the 70 million plus people that voted for him don't necessarily agree with that. So I think we are in a place where there's a large amount of people that do believe Trump and what he's saying. And then I don't believe that Trump got people on his side. Trump is the head of the Republican Party, whether we know it or not. And so what happened was that people fell in line because the American public loved Trump. So Trump didn't have to necessarily get them on board. They jumped on board because they wanted to keep their selves in power. I think we do need to look at it because right now in New York, Trump is being looked at for campaign violations because he has not filed yet that he's actually going to be running for president yet. And he has made over $5,000 in donations. You cannot do that. He has clearly violated campaign finance laws. It's so many things that have been happening with Trump. And I think that the Democrats, I think this is where they failed a bit. Because I think they kept going after Trump for things that they knew they weren't going to be able to get him and he became invincible. And at that point, now he believes that, and the people around him believe that. Like anytime he paid his daughter-in-law $60,000 to speak at the stop that the rally on January 6th, she got paid $60,000 to do that.
Wow.
That should not happen. But these are the type of things that continue to happen, and Democrats keep going after the wrong thing, and then we're back at square one.
Let me tell you why Democrats keep going after the wrong thing, which is surprising because they should know that a scenario like this, it only leads, like Trump is at the top of the chain, right? He's at the top of the whole pyramid scheme.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got his people underneath of him, even though they know he's crazy or he's wrong, they still ride with him because they get something from it. Then you got the lawmakers.
Right.
You got the lawmakers that are saying, yeah. Because why? They want to get the support. They don't have the balls to go against Trump. They're weak in their commitment to the people. They're weak in their commitment to themselves. So they're going to ride along because they're going to gain something from it, right? Then you got these companies. These companies are just looking for whatever road they need to take to build their interest. The sad part is that this is all being told as if it's about democracy, when it's not. Yeah, only a little bit about democracy, but this is what we're seeing happening from President Trump and the Republicans. This is not about democracy. This is not an attack on democracy, because democracy would include the people, right?
They attacked democracy. I mean, it was the other way around.
No, this is about money.
Exactly. It's always about the money.
This is about power and money, right? And guess why I say it's not about democracy? Because the people, we have no idea, and quote unquote, and we have very little ways to disrupt this. Mm-hmm. Like money is flowing right now from these companies, right? Unless the American people say enough is enough, we're gonna stop. We're gonna stop. We're gonna stop patronizing FedEx, or we're gonna stop patronizing UPS, or we're gonna stop patronizing Marathon. Like when you
don't come to work,
how do you want to stop that?
You don't come to work. You can only make money if you have workers. Like,
but check this out. I mean, yeah, you're right, but check this out. How many people are willing to die on that sword?
Not a lot.
Huh.
I mean, in a time where prices are rising, rent is happening, people are getting put out of their house. Can you imagine if a man said, "Well, baby, this company supported Trump"? She gonna be like, "Yeah, well, you support us."
Is that
right? But that's
get your ass to work, man.
Right, but that's the issue that we have. You either complain about changing the system, or we have to stop. Like we cannot say that we want the system to be different, but I don't want to feel uncomfortable. Like I hear a lot of people saying, like, we got to do something. We need to readjust the system. The system is broken. The only way to readjust the system is to be uncomfortable. There will be a level of discomfort, and if you do not want that, we won't have that. But in this situation, I do think it's about democracy and protecting democracy, because if you don't believe in elections and that the voting actually works, people won't vote. And you think that it's bad now, it'll be even worse when these companies are the ones that make all the rules and the laws, and you can keep putting these same people back into policies. No, but in a way, they do get to do that. But you look at the places where these people live at, they're usually really strong Republican strongholds. Now, there are Democrats that take money too. Don't get me to lying. There are Democrats that take money. But there's a lot of people that are in these particular states that keep getting reelected because the people keep reelecting them. So if the ones that don't like it don't vote, because one, they don't think that the system is worth voting for, when people died for you to do that and they gave you that right to do that, you're not going to vote.
All right, go ahead real quick.
I think us back then, I think what we were fighting for back then, we didn't really understand the totality of it, I'll say. I definitely was the one that would say, my ancestors died for me to vote, But at the same time, I don't think they completely understood the totality of what they were trying to be included in, or at least what the times were different then. Yes, we have the right, but now, like, okay, to be able to play this game, what side of the fence are we on? Democrat, Republican, like we said, we over that. And the more we talk, I think our problem is, as far as minorities, the information. There are plenty of third-party delivery companies besides FedEx and UPS that if we found more information on, that we'll be able to exercise that. And we don't have to be necessarily uncomfortable, just take a different route. Instead of going to Home Depot, go to Lowe's.
Yeah, but Lowe's also donates money. So it is, to me, it's bigger than that. We are looking at this as far as voting. Yes, somebody did put down, and I think they understood exactly what that meant. And that's why we have the Voting Rights Act. That's why you are able to vote. That is why we have civil rights in place, because they did do that and they did make those sacrifices. It doesn't seem like we are exactly where we should be, because we're not. But I think that as long as we continue to do what we're supposed to do, and more of us, people like you, people like me, we actually get involved in politics, and we get more of those people, not less. We have people that have been in politics. Joe, how old is Joe? How many years has he been?
He's been in there for 50 years.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we need fresh blood, new blood. We know ideas. Like, let's not vote, people. Let's get more people into politics. People that you say, well, they don't look like a politician. I want them. Those are the people that are going to get.
And we don't have what you're proposing, Lisa, and I agree to a certain extent. It's just that, and we don't have enough time to jump all into it. But I will say that
I'm sorry, I was talking.
It's all good. But the system that we're asking people to vote to get involved in is not amenable to innovation. It's not amenable to justice. You know what I'm saying? It's not amenable to really have a group of people like that. Like, there are all these different interests that are in our political system right now. And so at this point, it's like everybody, it seems like, and I'm not saying all politicians are this way, but it seems like everybody is can be bought. Everybody is for sale. Any cause is for sale. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, oh, okay, you got this problem? We'll handle it for you. Just give us the money. You know what I mean? And this seems like money, it still comes back to this idea that money is still the best way to handle a situation, when at the end of the day, we're seeing it each and every day in this country. You can have all the money in the world, but look at how many problems the American people are facing on the outside of themselves and on the inside of themselves as a result of the system that we're a part of. And we're not getting any better. Progress is sort of being made, but this country is getting ripped apart because of greed, because of inordinate self-interest, because of materialism, because of racism. I mean, you got all of these real issues that this country is burdened with. And at this point, how can you trust your political leadership if they say one thing in front of your face and then behind closed doors, they making other side deals with people who have the resources, the money, and the influence / power to really dictate the agenda? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Like, it's hard to keep telling people have hope in the system, and then you come across this information, you're like, damn, man.
I don't want hopelessness, because hopelessness leads
I know.
to despair,
I don't either.
and despair leads to destruction. And so we don't need people to be hopeless. We do need people to have some level of, because we can fix it. Like, if you're saying that they're going behind closed doors, there's more good people than bad, but there's a lot of people that don't know that you can get into politics. You can get in, you can do this. There's so many people that should be in politics that aren't. I've met so many smart, brilliant, bright young people that they can't get into politics. One, because of what you said, they don't have the money. It costs a lot of money in order to run in politics. And this is why, as Americans, if you want to take your money and go somewhere, try to invest in someone in your community that is running on that local level.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, we got to take a quick pause. When we come back, folks, let's switch gears just a little bit. I want to have a conversation about celebrity feminism. And is it really good for the culture? We see a lot of celebrities, especially women, who say that they stand for feminist ideas, feminist principles. However, does it push and does it make the type of progress that women need to see in various spaces, from everything from being heard to being seen as equal? So we'll have that conversation. And then later, we got to talk about the queen herself. Speaking of feminists, is Beyonce back. She dropped her new single, Break My Soul, and people are awaiting her upcoming album. I had to wait to get my sisters on to get their take on what we can expect from the queen herself. And of course, next hour, we'll talk about trends, posts, and doing the most. So stay with us. That's all happening the next hour of The Culture right here on the Black Star Network. We'll be right back.
iPhone 13 on us for every customer. Current, new, everyone. To show the love.
Don't you think it's time to get wealthy? I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and my new show on the Black Star Network focuses on the things your financial advisor or bank isn't telling you. So watch Get Wealthy on the Black Star Network.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for a Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
How about sushi?
I just had sushi for lunch yesterday.
How about tacos?
Automatic emergency braking, one of 6 advanced safety features standard on every 2022 Chevy Equinox. Find new technology. Find new roads. Chevrolet.
All right, folks, welcome back to the second hour of the show. So glad that you're able to join us in this hour. So many things that we've talked about in the first hour, talking about the Uvalde Police Department failure and the situation of the Uvalde tragedy, and talking about fundraising Trump's big lie. If you missed that first hour, make sure you check out the replay. And I'm trust and believe, folks, you will certainly get something from it. All right, for this hour, I wanted to start the conversation off, and I had to reserve this conversation because these dynamic sisters that are part of the Culture Crew on Tuesdays, Lise Winnie, host of Millennials Anonymous podcast, Iman Heath, who is an entrepreneur and activist doing some great work. I wanted to make sure I had the right voices to have this conversation. And this conversation is about celebrity feminism. Let's bring Lise and Iman back into it, Keenan. Thank you so much, bro. This is also based on an idea that we're seeing feminism as it continues to evolve in this country. There seems to be this trend, Lisa and Iman, that feminism, which is about equality, is about women being seen and as an equal, women having the space to be heard. I mean, it's opening up the conversation. Now, I know a lot of people throw the word feminist around. I don't know if you ladies even describe yourselves as feminists. You know what I mean? I think I have some feminist, I don't know, can I have some feminist tendencies?
Feminist flavor. It's okay.
Or some feminist thinking ideas. I don't know. But what we're seeing today, and I would agree, that feminism has taken on a whole new life of itself. Like, if you remember what Billie Jean King and what women did back in the late 60s and early 70s and going to that period to where feminism is right now, it seems like, I don't know, Lise, it seems like it's just a whole different thing. But let me share with you what Miss Susan Faludi, who is a journalist, she wrote a piece in the New York Times. She's also the author of this book called Backlash, The Undeclared War Against Women. and how she made this point about feminism being a Faustian bargain with celebrity culture. And now we're seeing that women might be paying the ultimate price, where as much as they have celebrities promoting some of these ideas, that celebrities aren't really promoting them where they are changing the narrative or they're changing the cause. Let me just share with you one of the things that Ms. Faludi said. She said, check this out, quote, and I want to get your take on from both of you. She said, there's a bigger problem here. Celebrity feminism is based on the idea that a celebrity can instigate change by representing a cause, which so often reduces the cause to a persona. We think of landmines, we think of Princess Di. That same equation works in reverse. You can establish your persona by embracing a cause. Virtue becomes a vanity. No longer are you doing something, you're being something. And in our social media age, anyone with a YouTube channel or a TikTok account can give it a try. You no longer need a movie star to front for your movement. Celebrity of the self will do. A corrosive culture is abetted. I'm gonna take a sip of tea on this one. Because I think a lot of women, especially women that have, high profile women with platforms, I don't know. It seems like this feminism time, you could be a feminist, you could want equality, but it becomes this other thing, this otherness, as I read before. Lise, talk to me. What's your take on what Ms. Faludi said about this?
I think she's right in a way. And I would say that I'm a feminist because it's the equality, fighting for women's rights based on the equality of the sexes. I believe that men and women should get paid the same wages. I believe men and women should be able to do the same thing. So in that case, I would say that I am a feminist. Now, I agree that there are people that take a cause and they become that cause. And then we as the public just go with it. And it's now monetary to be socially involved, and you don't need to know anything about it. You don't need to be aware of what it actually means. And then you just use it. And the issue becomes, therefore, feminism becomes toxic because you are getting these people that don't know what it means. They just want to go viral. So they're creating these viral moments. And then you have all of these people say, well, feminists are bad. They're bad people. But that's not what's happening. It's just that people are taking the movement and they're making it about themselves.
So how do you stop that, Iman? Because, I mean, it's like a catch-22. It's like the chicken and, chicken versus the egg situation, right? Like, I'm a true advocate and I'm a true believer in this idea that you can have the greatest causes, but that people don't join causes because they're necessarily or inherently good causes or they're great causes or these are great ideas. Sometimes some people join these causes because of who they might heard the cause about the cause from. So, for example, if you have a homegirl and y'all talking police brutality, now she never cared about police brutality, Iman, but because you're so passionate about the issue of police brutality, she joins on to police brutality. That's all I'm saying. So now, is it a wrong thing that celebrity women would say, you know what, let me take on this cause. Let me try to promote some of the ideas of this. Is that a wrong thing?
I think our problem is trying to figure out their intent. Because a lot of people, like you said, just jump on something because it may be popular, someone they're familiar with is who is supporting it. So to think or try to find a person's intention, we will never be able to get to the root of that. But I do agree that this is causing quite a mess. This whole viral thing when it comes to social media is getting a little out of hand. Like people are making up scenarios so they can get the views and whatnot. And to just throw information about being a feminist, it's more than just, oh, hey, I support women, or hey, I support women being able to do the same thing as men. It's creating this, in my opinion, that I'm seeing on social media, this bickering back and forth between men and women where it's not necessary. You don't have to go back and forth about why we're not able to do this or do that because we're different sex. Let's team up and help each other get to the end goal. But it's creating a toxic movement when it's not necessary. And then other women are going back and forth with other women about the same issues. It's like, I thought we were all the same sex at the end of the day. So why is there any type of fighting within this viral social media thing? It's too much. It
is too much.
It loses the point of the fight, to be honest, if you ask me.
You say it again?
It loses the point of the fight what they're fighting for when it gets to social media, as far as it being viral, trendy.
So then it becomes this other thing, ladies, where brands start to take on this mantra. One of the things that Ms. Faludi said in her op-ed piece, she said back in 2014, 2015, y'all remember when Beyonce did this big, she did the MTV Music Awards. Mm-hmm. And she had the big screen that said the word feminist. Mm-hmm. At that time, back in 2014, 2015, feminist was one of the most searched words on Google. No other word, I think it was in 2014, no other word was searched more than the word feminist, right? And people became like just going crazy. Companies started to
make t-shirts.
Make certain t-shirts. The future is female. Mm-hmm. And it is. It's always been.
Good job, Farajii. Good job.
Because we can't produce. Just real simple, guys. Just want to state the obvious, right? But there has been so much in the branding of this political ideology of feminism, right? This social ideology of feminism. There's been so much in the branding of it. And I think to your point, Iman, it's gotten to the point where either you are a feminist or not. And I think that this is partly the disheartening part about labels. It doesn't give people a chance to, one, really understand, and then two, it's like you gotta be labeled. Like this identity, what they call identity politics, where the label defines who you are. I can have some feminist tendencies in my thinking, but I may not necessarily say I'm a feminist. I could be like, yes, I think women should get equal pay for the same work as a man. Or yes, women should be heard. Or yes, that Black women are often the most marginalized group of women in the world. So women, I could say that, but I may not. But I don't always have to promote it. I think nowadays it's easy, Lise. Everybody wants to promote who they, you know what I mean, like.
Because you get brownie points. You get brownie points. And again, we were talking about money in politics. That's the same way with social media. It is monetary. So now these brands and these movements are now about the money. How much money can you make? How much money can you put in your pocket? It's trendy now to say Black Lives Matter. It's trendy now to say that I'm a feminist. And a lot of the people, like I said, they don't even understand the movement. They don't even know what it means. They're just using it because it's popular. And I think this is the problem. And you're right, Farajii. I don't think that you have to walk around saying that I'm a feminist to believe that women should have equal rights, because that's really all that means. You do not need to walk around saying that. I don't need a shirt. I don't. And I love me some Beyonce. Lord Jesus knows that I do. Got the beehive caught in my breast right now. But I'm just saying, you don't need to do that.
Hey, look. As a matter of fact, and to that point, and I agree with you, Elise, but to that point, if you are a young girl that's maybe learning about this, and I think that girls should learn about, feminism and what that means and what role they play, right? But you would think that Beyonce is the mother of feminism.
Now you would.
Y'all about to say nobody thinks that. Y'all think that nobody would misunderstand that.
No, I now you would
have a club card, so.
What you say, Mom?
I don't have a Beehive Club card, so go ahead.
I don't want the first thing, just because I bring up, and I got to be careful because I don't want none of my accounts to be hacked.
Too late for that.
I see a bunch of bees on my Facebook page, like, we heard what you said about the Queen.
You gonna be canceled, Farajii. You better be canceled.
I'm gonna be canceled. Y'all see a bunch of bees on my live chat. No, but I just think that we put it in its proper context. the fight for women, fight for women's rights, the fight for women's equality, the fight for women to be heard, all of those things, there's a long line of women, powerful women, right? Like you can go back to our great heroes and our great sheroes, right? You can say, I mean, they never called themselves that. They never said that. Harriet Tubman just didn't say, I'm a feminist.
No,
she just did what she thought was the right thing to do based upon the morals and values that she had.
Yeah,
and
it didn't
so happened
the thing back then yet, though. It wasn't a label to claim yet. Back in those days.
Yeah, right. We are the generation of labels where we need labels to identify. We have more labels in this generation than we can even explain. There's certain labels we don't even know what it means, but it's just a label on top of labels.
And that's the point.
And Sojourner Truth did not say that, but yes, she was in fact a feminist. She fought for women's rights. So that's just something that is in fact true. But what I will say is that, again, we do need to watch what we do, because when you look at movements, people don't necessarily follow movements anymore. They follow people. And then, like you said with Beyonce, the people become the movement. And then the movement becomes flawed because they're human. And then all of this stuff comes out like, this is what they said, look what they did. And it's like, well, they're a person, they're a human. The movement is not them. They are not the movement. The movement is the action to get what it is, the cause is. That is what it is. Beyonce is not feminism.
No, well, here's the other thing. Is it possible that a woman can be a distraction or disruption for the feminist movement?
Absolutely. What? Take a pretty face, nice body.
No. Okay, I'm gonna let you finish your point, and then I'm gonna share something what I heard. All right, go ahead.
Throw her in there.
Who?
Maybe give a different agenda or perspective of what a feminist should compose or should act or how they should speak. I promise you that girl will get that following. And once they get that following and grows, then part of the feminist group, when we all had this one agenda, we're on the same accord, we're going to go over here to the left or go over here to the right, because we're now following this person that is more appealing, maybe more relatable to me, possibly. She might have a different skin tone. It's a woman can come in and mess up the movement.
So with that point, Ben, I'm glad you made that point, because I've heard women from Meg Thee Stallion say,
now be careful.
That,
hold on. What man?
Wait a minute. Hold on. I know. Wait a minute. Look, man. Look. I'm trying to walk and tread lightly when I
not the hotties.
I'm watching my tone and my words. Okay. But no, seriously. Like I've heard, like for example, you might have a Meg Thee Stallion, an artist like her, to say, "I flaunt my sexuality because that's empowering." Right? I flaunt my sexuality because that's liberating. You might have an artist like Lizzo who says, yeah, I showed my ass in the way that I do because I'm tired of women being objectified. Like, are there some boundaries, or are there some guidelines, or are there some lens by which men and women of all that we can look at to say, because it seems like a woman is using, sometimes I think women use feminism to justify their behavior, right? Like, you know, and I often wonder, it's like, okay, is this really feminism, or is this just a celebrity woman who just wants to try to, you know, not take full accountability for how she presents herself to the world or what she says to the world? That's the part I don't know.
It doesn't even have to be a celebrity woman, Farajii. It's women that I've seen locally here in Baltimore put on literally a thong and then like fishnet type pants, where you can clearly see her whole, like the whole thing just out. And it's, well, you know, just because I don't have little clothes don't mean men should say certain comments to me or whatnot, because, you know, that's degrading to women, blah 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 blah. You're objectifying me. Well, if you put, I don't know, a piece of cheese in front of a mouse, what is naturally going to happen? Like,
tag me in, coach. Tag me in.
Go ahead, Lise.
I'm going to completely disagree with you, but that's okay. Still, but Here's the thing. I think that you're absolutely right, Farajii. I think that women can disrupt the feminist movement, but I think that this is the benefit of having a movement and not following people, because we need more than one narrative in feminism, because it means different things to different people. So they asked Gloria Steinem, who is a big feminist, about Cardi B, who I have on my wall, and they said, is this feminism? And she said, feminism is whatever you make it. If that is feminism to you, who am I to tell you that that is not feminism? And you cannot own your sexuality, especially Black women who for the longest time could not own their sexuality. So who am I to tell you not to own yours? Because it's been owned by slave owners, white people, Black men. Black women did not get that opportunity. And for most part, they still don't. So I'm not going to tell you what you should wear and what's acceptable, because sometimes when men are talking to us, it's more of the behavior of what was acceptable to men than telling me what I can and can't wear.
Please, you're telling me it's okay to wear a thong to an NBA game?
No, but see, again,
I'm not what size you are. I'm not big, little,
hold on. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If you look up feminism, folks, if you look up feminism, they say it's a political ideology. I just looked it up. It says a political ideology. It's about rights. It's about expression. It's been diminished to body. It's been diminished to sexuality.
Right.
In the sense of, oh, okay, that's feminine if a woman plans to, is intimate with more than one man. I mean, you'd be like, nah, that's not feminist. That's her choice.
A part of feminism. I think a part of feminism is owning your sexuality and saying, I can do this. What's wrong with me?
Okay, I can see that. I can see
exploratory.
There should be boundaries, though.
Everybody should have boundaries. I agree. I
feel like it's all over the place. I feel like it's all over the place.
I agree with you 1,000% that there should be boundaries, and it makes certain people feel uncomfortable. If you are like, let's say Lizzo had her butt out at the NBA game, I didn't like the outfit.
At the MTV Awards, it's still not okay.
I'm not picking on Lizzo. I'm just saying, like, if you want to wear your butt out at the NBA game, and some people say that's inappropriate to wear at the NBA game because children are there. My thing is this: we've shamed the body as well. So it's not just them wearing this; it's that because we did that. It was like, you can't show this, you can't do that. I'm not saying that you should go to your PTA meeting in a fishnet cat suit. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that people should have the right in order to choose the way that they want to express themselves.
That's fine.
Because I feel like we do go down a very slippery slope that
That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm recognizing, Lise. It's a slippery slope. And like in a time where you have very real women's issues on the docket, right? Like we get caught up in the whole women should be able to dress and not dress a certain way. You got a very real issue: abortion rights,
reproductive rights. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. At a time where, like, for example, when the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial was happening, Amber Heard tried to create this narrative like she was this pro-woman type of thing, and it's like some women are saying, "Wait a minute, but you were the one that was wrong." You know what I'm saying? So I'm bringing these points up is because it's all blurry. All right, let me get a couple of quick comments before we jump off of this. But Janine checked in. Ariel, let's put Janine's comments up real quick. Janine checked in. Janine's always good to hear from. You say some women just put labels on themselves without researching why the word and movements were even started.
Agreed.
You know what? That's not just women.
It's all. I said that it's all movements. People don't know what they mean.
Everybody. That's what I'm saying. Like you just can't be. Like everybody is like, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. And it's like,
what are your actions behind it?
When did we become
Show me the track record of what you've done to say that you're this person.
They want to walk around with the NASCAR jackets, all the buttons on, like or like a Girl Scout.
Like before you even walk into the room, you just look at the jacket and be like, oh, okay. I can't even talk to you. Nope, I disagree with everything you said. Nope. All right, let's go to brother King Lee, my man King Lee. What's up, bro? Good to see you. You said there is black feminism and there is white feminism. In the early days of public feminism, white feminists as a whole did their best to shut down black people.
The facts. the fact
I agree with that
there were
1,000.
feminists, white feminists asking, can we join them in marching for rights and all of that stuff when they were marching in DC. But where were you when we were marching and fighting for the same rights for Black people? So you know what I can say, I don't know where I lie at as far as being a feminist. I do support women's rights, of course. I am a woman. However, to an extent, I'm not marching and walking with you if you're not marching and walking with me.
But again, what we're doing is we're still putting feminism on people. Because all feminists aren't women. And that's why, again, we have the label. You have Black feminism, you have white feminism. We were making it more convoluted.
Well, no, it's not that we're doing it.
Well, society.
That's what happened. Because our social, if y'all want to get into the terminology, the social construct that Black people got into the system, white people put those boundaries on us.
I don't disagree with you, but I'm saying as of right now, we're still putting that on certain people. Why can't, as a Black woman, if you fight for Black women's rights, and those rights will also, let's say, the reproductive rights, they will also benefit white women, even if you're not doing that.
Come on, you know why? Because Black people, we don't look. I mean, unless it's intentional, most of the time, and I'm saying that most in terms, there's a high numbers of times where we respond, we're reacting. The reason that there is Black feminism is because white feminism didn't allow Black women in that space, right? The reason why there is a Black church is because white churches didn't allow us to come in there and worship God. Those were divisions that white people set up. Those were the boundaries that, and as a result of that, we had to create our own system of doing things.
I understand that, but what I'm saying now is we're still putting it on people. Why can't I own feminism now as an individual to me if it's what I want it to be? That's all I'm saying.
I got you. And I think you can. I really do think you can. Let me go to a couple more and then we wrap it up. All right, Forensic, my man, Forensic, good to hear from you. The women's movement in general was cool until Tamika Mallory showed up and held them accountable for having shut Black women out. Big shout out to Tamika.
Big shout out to Tamika. Big shout out
to my sister, sister Carmen, and all of the sisters. That's absolutely true. Mm-hmm. I remember when I went to the Women's March, my wife and we went to the Women's March, one of the greatest days that I've never seen that many women, right? But it was you still saw the divisions among white women, Black women, Latino women, Asian women. There was still a lot of divisions. And I talked to Tamika personally, and she talked about this. Like Black women, the interests, the issues that affect Black women, they had to create a movement where the Black women is out front because, to your point, Lise, you help the Black woman in her effort, in her struggle, you're going to help all women. But for some reason, this country don't get that. This country thinks that's not true. If you help Black people, you only helping Black people. We're the most discouraged group of people in the United States of America. So if you help us, if there are ways for us to make advancements, how won't other people get advancement and progress? I just don't understand that. But I do know that struggle is real. That is a very real struggle. Black women are not always accepted in white feminist spaces.
I don't disagree.
Yeah. Real quick, Sports checked in and said feminism is one of the strongest forces destroying the Black family due to the reality that the dues-paying members of most Black groups are female. Black male leaders are usually afraid to confront.
That's interesting. I would like him to elaborate, or she to elaborate on that one a little bit.
Sports, yeah, I know him. Sports, I got you. Iman, what's your take on that, Iman?
I'm trying to digest to make sure.
Yeah, I was like, I'm
trying to make sure I understand what he was saying, like in totality. The first part, I would say I can kind of agree.
You think it's one of the strongest forces destroying the Black family?
Not one of the strongest. I won't say that, but it could be something that is destroying the Black family. As part of the feminist movement, a lot of women scream independent, independent, independent. I don't need.
Okay.
And it's like, I get it. Don't get me wrong. I will hope that anyone, man or woman, is able to stand on their own when facing anything. However, I think that takes away the root of what a family is. A family is a foundation. It's a team. It's a team effort. It's not just me solely on my own doing this and doing that, or at least wanting to be praised. For example, wanting to be praised on Father's Day because I'm a single mother. Like I can see it's on that end, but the other end, I'm kind of confused.
I like that point you just made, because I see sisters do that. I've seen sisters get mad that they don't get love on Father's Day.
Yeah, you're not a father, ma'am.
Like, you're not a father. I'm here. I get that you're here. Just don't recognize. Just recognize an uncle or granddad or somebody else.
Yeah, because you're not a father. You cannot take away fatherhood just because the father isn't there.
I don't disagree with that. I will say that I don't think feminism is destroying Black families. I think that sometimes, if we're being honest, that Black men or men in general have gotten comfortable in a system that benefited them. And when Black women couldn't own anything, they were able to pretty much rule the household. Yeah. Equality doesn't mean less. And if I say that I can do this on my own, it doesn't mean that I need you now. It means I want you, which is a different situation altogether. As a team, I want you on my team. I don't need you on my team. It's two very different things, but we need men and men need women together equally.
Absolutely. All right, let me get one more comment in. DeAndre checked in and said, right, where are the boundaries? What is the exact narrative when everybody can create their own label for the term? How are you supposed to come from an outside perspective and know what it means?
I don't know.
I don't know, DeAndre. That's, and I'm not even trying to be facetious. I'm being honest. Like that. I mean, we can look at. There are some books. Obviously, there are a number of books to speak on feminism, right? Black feminism and feminism in general. So maybe it's we have those conversations based on those guidelines. But some of those thinkers, they each propose different things, and so I think that it becomes the slippery slope where you're like, hey, you're feminist. You could say, or you could think, or you could express however you feel is right. I think it ultimately comes down to, as a man, okay, is my support of you as a woman, does that fall in alignment of feminist principles, right? Like, I think those are the questions that we should be asking. Like, men can't dictate feminism. We can't determine what's feminist and what's not feminist. We got to ask women. I have to ask y'all ladies, y'all sisters, all right, is this right? Am I doing this right? Because otherwise,
y'all will screw up the message. Y'all will screw up the message.
Damn, Iman, I wasn't thinking like that, but
I'm just trying to help you. I'm just trying to help you.
I wasn't thinking like, I was really thinking like, just out of respect because I'm not a woman.
That too. And then y'all will mess it. Y'all will mess it up.
Right. Oh yeah, you're not a woman, but you will mess it up. Okay, all right. I hear you. All right, look, we got to take a quick pause. When we come back, let's talk about Beyonce and her new song and what we can expect from her new album. Culturally, people are saying this might be the summer of the Queen. What are your thoughts? We'll have that, and I got something for you for Trends, Posts, and Doing the Most. Stay with us. It's The Culture here on the Black Star Network. We'll be right back.
Love our new Alexa.
It's a Buick.
Yeah, Alexa.
Buick.
Alexa.
It's a Buick.
It's an Alexa. It's a Buick. It's an Alexa. Coach, that's a Buick. That's an Alexa.
The Buick Enclave with available Alexa built-in.
Verizon just gave us all a brand new iPhone 13.
We've been customers for years.
We got iPhone 13s too. Switched 2 minutes ago, literally right before this.
iPhone 13 on us on any unlimited plan for every customer, with plans starting at just $35. All on the network more people rely on.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for a Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
How about sushi?
I just had sushi for lunch yesterday.
How about tacos?
Automatic emergency braking, one of 6 advanced safety features standard on every 2022 Chevy Equinox. Find new technology. Find new roads. Chevrolet.
All right, folks, welcome back to the show. Let's talk a little bit about something that I think a lot of people have been talking about. Of course, June represents Black Music Month. And here on The Culture, we want to continue our conversations about the power and the influence of the Black artist. And so we have one artist today that many people have been saying they can't wait to hear from again. The queen herself, Beyonce, is expected. She just announced just a few days ago that she plans to announce her 7th studio album on July the 29th. It's called Renaissance. And she, you know, they put out a new single called Break My Soul. Can we play a little bit of that? Can we play the single?
Take off the slow. Make it go.
I heard you turn it off. Beyonce will get you with that copyright. Yeah, because you get copyright strike. You about to get a copyright strike.
All right, there you go. Ow!
Beyonce is one of the
Beyonce would be like, who the hell is the culture? Who is Farajii Muhammad? Then Jay-Z will send me a tweet. Chill with all that. Hey, bro.
Hey, Farajii, I ain't got nothing on it, bro. I ain't got nothing on it.
We gotta cut it. We had to cut it. But that was Beyonce. Oh, wow. Copyright infringement on YouTube, man. It's crazy. But Beyonce released a new single, Break My Soul. As you can hear, it's the different sound for Beyonce. Now, for her new album, she's expecting to take us on a different ride. Not only does she have this single that sounds like this, but it's also been rumored and reported that we might hear a couple of country western style songs on the album. So here's my point. Let me start with let me start with the Beehive with Elise right here. Let me start with the Beehive because she's all into this. Are we getting into a new era of music and sounds? And here's why I'm asking. Drake just released his album just a few days ago. Much more dance hall, you know what I mean? It's not your typical hip hop album, but it has a great sound, has a great vibe, great energy. Now you got Beyonce putting it out there. What do you think is being said, especially among these mainstream artists right now when it comes to the sound and to the content of their music, Lise?
I think that we are in a different place musically, just in general. I mean, this is house music, so for Beyonce to do house music is out of her wheelhouse. We've not really heard her do much of this. Now, she had some of that go-go sound back in like the early mid 2000s. So this is totally different. And when you look at what Drake has done, I think it's because the longevity of music artists now, and I just was speaking about this with Hey Crack on Millennials Anonymous, it's not there. So I think that these bigger artists now have to go outside of their normalcy in order to even get noticed, because the music cycle is so fast. Like we were talking about Kendrick Lamar, and then the next day we weren't. And that was an amazing album. So I think that's why you're seeing more people kind of like shift the way that music sounds.
Right. And I think that Iman, I mean, Beyonce is such a powerful voice in music, right? Like when she puts out something, everybody hears it, everybody listens to it. But I'm wondering the risk, like the creative risk that she's taken and the way that she's going. She's coming from a whole different space. She's a mother now. She got 3 children. She has a well-established career. Her husband has a well-established career. Like she can't be boxed in anymore. Do you think that's going to play negatively on the audience that's listening to her music? I mean, she got her beehive, but do you think she's going to branch out and be able to get any new fans?
Farajii, number one, it's Beyonce. To some people, Beyonce can do no wrong. I don't think she's gonna listen. It's Beyonce, Farajii. I'm trying to tell you.
I get what you're saying.
He can't do no wrong. I don't think that way, but I'm telling you, she can't do no wrong. So I don't think this will be any backlash toward a negative way for her. The fact that she is taking in a new sound, I think she'll gain new fans. To be honest, and some of her old fans may not like it. To me personally, I'm not a house music fan. I prefer a club over house any given day. But it's catchy. You know, it's a nice tune. And it's Beyonce. I don't think
Iman. You're gonna be driving your car. You're gonna be driving your car, Iman.
Listen, give me Black Parade. I want Black Parade back.
I like
that. 82 degrees outside. You're gonna be like, you can break my soul. You're gonna be all in, Iman.
I promise you. Listen, give me Black Parade.
I'm sorry, so damn catchy. Y'all gonna catch me rotting like, oh snap. They be like, oh, I'm gonna pull up in the hood. They be like, what is? Oh, this dude is rocking to Beyonce.
I'm gonna say something though. As a Beehive member, I got a bronze. I'm not platinum. I'm bronze. So here's the thing: the most recent music for Beyonce has not been my favorite. I'm not a big fan of rapping Beyonce. I love me some singing Beyonce. Not a big fan of rapping Beyonce. So I think that she also realized that her music wasn't as received when she did a lot of this newer stuff. Because again, we're in this short-term music cycle. House music, though, lasts. Like you can listen to house music for years and years and years and years and years. So I think that's one reason that she's getting into house music. But I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot of the new music, even this one, I'm not quite there yet. Like I will support it because it's Beyonce, but I'm not sold yet.
That's you're a true Beehive. You're a true member of the Beehive. I'm telling you. But you know what though?
I'm bronze.
Let me just tell y'all. The way you feel about the Beyonce is the exact way I feel about her husband. The exact way.
Yes.
Nothing like I know that Jay-Z may not always come hard on every single track, but 95% of the time I'm gonna be like, that's a tight verse. That was good. That was
because it's Jay-Z.
I read that Jay-Z is actually thinking of, they're saying he's rumored to have his album drop this year. 52 years old.
Really?
52 years old.
Excited.
Check this out. Guess who's going to be the one that's going to get it? This guy.
But I love that.
Because I forgot who said it. They were like, Jay-Z could rap till you like 70.
I think so, but this is the first time we're seeing rap is aging. Remember, rap came in the 70s and the 80s, so we didn't get a chance to see rap age. Now we have this older rap music.
Like Jay-Z, we really watched Jay-Z grow, Lise. Like
I love it.
We watched the evolution. Like I love it. I
love it too. I love it too. I love the fact that all these artists are taking a chance. And when I was talking to Nira about it earlier today, we were talking about Drake's album. And she was making a point. She was like, you got to think about all of the stuff that we've been listening to, right? Whether you like the mumble rap, the trap music, and all that stuff. I mean, everything, all types of music has its place, whether based upon the mood you're in. So, but it's like people do want to feel good about life right now. I mean, there's a lot of things that's on us that makes us feel like, man, can stuff get any worse? And when you hear a song that's talking about you can't break my soul, you just be like, nope, gas won't break my soul. You know what I mean?
I like her message.
Is Beyonce the Sam Cooke of our day? Is she Sam Cooke of our time?
You know what? Lise,
I'm just asking.
I wouldn't think so. That's not.
Okay.
That's. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think Beyonce is such an outlier in terms of her creativity and what she brings to music. Like I think she's, for lack of a better word, she's like a female Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Gotcha. She's a pioneer. I can see.
You know what I'm saying? Like she's such a.
Said though, Lise. I do feel.
I do understand why you would say that. I just don't think it's that, because I felt like with Sam Cooke had that sound that just resonated with your soul as a human being. You know what I mean? Now Beyonce could take you there. She can definitely take you there. Right. But you know what I mean? Like when you heard Sam Cooke, you would just be like, "Whoo!"
But change gonna come was the
blackness. You know what I mean?
Right. But change gonna come was the sound of the times. Like he was navigating the.
This could be the sound of the times. You're right. You're right, Lise. With this track, like the lyrics, I
don't know about this song, but
I think some of the lyrics.
Like Janine checked it on our face on YouTube. She was like, Black Parade is her shit, right?
That's what I just said. That
Black Parade. Black Parade. What?
Black Parade. You like Black Parade, right?
I like Black Parade. Her message about in Black Parade, that's my anthem.
Yes. See?
Like when I felt my insides, she said, let the ancestors talk on the wall. The ancestors chit-chat on the wall.
Right.
Beyonce, bring it in. Because people was calling me a witch when I said that.
But here's the thing. For an artist like Beyonce, who really doesn't need to put out music, like she doesn't need to quote unquote get more money for music because she's doing everything else. And Ariel, do me a favor for those. When we get, can you find those pictures from Vogue? Because we got to show because those from British Vogue. So when you get a chance, let me know when you got those pictures. But the thing is, what is the expectation that we should have for an artist like Beyonce at this point, Iman? When by her being so multifaceted, by her being who she is, what do you think is a great expectation that we should have for her?
She is now gone into so many different sounds. Like it's the only expectation I could honestly say is to keep venturing into different sounds, touching every fan that likes every different type of sound. You have your Beyonce Crazy in Love fans, you have your Beyonce Black Parade fans, you have your Beyonce fans who like this Renaissance sound. Like her only expectation is to keep trying different things, I would say, at this point.
Right. What about for you, Lise? What's the expectation we should have?
As far as sound, Beyonce, she won. Like this is Mortal Kombat. She did finish him. She did the fatality. She's already completed it. There are no expectations for Beyonce sound wise. She is not a musician. She is an icon. She has reached that status in music that we won't see by many people. But I think as far as an artist, sometimes we look at them to do more. Like look at what Jay-Z was doing with the Bitcoin, and that kind of backfired. And people, are saying he's not doing enough for his community. I think we do need to kind of take it that they're people and it's not up to them in order to change our world. It's nice if they do, but it's not up to them in order to do that.
Yep. My thinking is when I think of Beyonce, I don't just see her as a singer. Like she became this other representation.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like even the fact that we call her Queen Bee. You know what I mean? Like, and you can get into fist fights with people if you don't refer to her in the right tense. You know what I mean?
We got meetings about that at the Hive. We
right. Y'all got some issues, and it's like no other
some issues. I like how you slid that in there.
Yo, Mocha, wait a minute, hold on. I ain't tell y'all when we brought up Beyonce earlier. Mocha from our YouTube chat started hitting me with the bees on the chat. Mocha, don't think I ain't see you.
She in the hive. I'm trying to say.
Mocha,
she was trying to warn you. She was trying to warn you.
You gotta get it started, Mocha. But I saw the bees coming, and then
I gave her a secret sign, and she put the bees in there.
Then I put on my bee suit.
Y'all crazy.
But no, I mean, I think that when I think of Beyonce, I don't think just see a singer. You know what I mean? I don't just see like, just like Kelly Rowland, or I don't see like a Sierra or something. I see this woman that represents so much more. All right, Ariel, check this out very quickly. Look at these photos. Like these photos,
beautiful.
I mean, this is This is from Vogue. Take a look at some of these photos. She, she's talking about Renaissance, and look at this. Look at this.
That's stunning.
Look now. Look, this is the same magazine. Look, check this out. I think this is crazy. This is the same magazine that when they took a picture of the vice president, Kamala Harris, they had all those issues. You ain't seeing no issues from Vogue with Vogue about Beyonce.
No.
Because Beyonce ain't going to allow certain things to be put out there about herself.
That is, I mean, the artistic creativity of Beyonce to be able to take that of the Renaissance and update it and make it. I don't know if too many artists can do that. And her brand is on. When I tell you Beyonce's marketing team is bar none the best.
It's crazy for me. Those earrings symbolize something.
The earrings symbolize wealth. No, real talk though. The Saturn joints, they look like something like I got the whole universe in my hand right now.
Maybe Farajii, that you might be on to something.
I think. Oh yeah. The world revolves around Beyonce.
Oh
yeah.
God.
Everything she does has a purpose. We just don't know what it is.
All right. So there we go. We got Beyonce. Look, I got to take a quick pause. Hey, when we come back, let me give you some trends posted doing the most. Stay with us. It's The Culture on the Black Star Network.
How about sushi?
I just had sushi for lunch yesterday.
How about tacos?
Automatic emergency braking, one of 6 advanced safety features standard on every 2022 Chevy Equinox. Find new technology. Find new roads. Chevrolet.
We're all impacted by the culture, whether we know it or not. From politics to music and entertainment, it's a huge part of our lives, and we're going to talk about it every day right here on The Culture with me, Farajii Muhammad, only on the Black Star Network.
Are the only bins that will accommodate larger overboard.
They put 10 in here?
10, and you don't come out till you die. And you eat him, you hoop him.
Oh my God.
All right, folks, it's time for us to talk about trends, posts, and doing the most. All right, let me bring back my culture crew, my dynamic culture crew, Lise Winnie, Iman Heath. Man, oh man. Let me talk about the two things. Now, if you're from Baltimore, we got all Baltimore folks on here. Baltimore is great. Baltimore produces some great talent. And so I happened to see this on Facebook one day, and then I came across this and I was like, wow, that's funny. So there happens to be, we have a hometown singer by the name of Mario. You should let me love. Well, actually, matter of fact, Neo, when he performed at AFRAM this past weekend here in Baltimore, he did his rendition of Mario's song, You Should Let Me Love You. My God, I was like, wow. I didn't even know he wrote that.
Yeah.
Neo wrote that?
Neo wrote
a
lot. No, listen, Neo is one of the most fire songwriters. Like, there is. Like,
look, Neo was like in his concert very quickly. He said, okay, now y'all heard my stuff. Let me play this. Let's start singing a song to the stuff that I wrote for other people. And he started, playing all these hits. Everybody was like, everything's going crazy. I did not know he wrote that for Mario. Anyway,
I had no idea.
Mario, who is a hometown singer, it has been confirmed that he is going to be in a versus battle with Omarion.
Yeah.
Why are we so quiet on this?
I'm just sitting here thinking, like, I'm just counting in my head, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do they have 20? 1, 2, 3, 4. The math ain't mathing. I love them both. Don't get it wrong. I love them both.
It was so silent. Like,
it was like Mario and Omarion, and everybody like I think the audience, the watchers, everybody's like trying to figure it out. Like,
I was sitting here like, I don't want to be negative, but Mario, I don't know.
That's what I said.
At least, how many songs you gotta have to do verses?
20. That's why the math ain't math. And I'm like, wait a minute, one carried a one.
He got 20 songs, but
that's on the same album, though. You can't just play your album play. Like, that's not how this works. Well, Mario actually does have quite a few hits, though. He has quite a few hits.
I don't know.
Name them.
Maybe it's me. Omarion by himself. Does he have those hits?
Yeah,
he can play B2K though.
No,
he can't play B2K. He don't have to. He can start at Touch. We can start right there. That album. We can start there.
I said by himself.
Oh, his first
album. Not by himself.
Not by himself.
No.
I think he got it by himself.
You can't. He can't do the verses with B2K versus Mario. I'm like, no.
No, he can't. But his first debut album. Start there up until now. At least what he's been doing recently.
How many
as
albums
well,
has he put out?
He can handle it.
You think so?
Yeah, I think Mario can handle it.
I think he has 3.
I
think he has 3.
I think it's 3. Maybe they can do like 10 apiece. Maybe 10 apiece is more realistic.
Hey, look, the Culture Crew a lot. Everybody's trying to figure it out. Like, what is it? 5? They got 5 songs together? Or Tiana said neither one of them have 20 hits.
Yeah, not hits.
Together.
Just songs.
I probably together.
You really need 20 songs for that?
I believe so. Everybody else, I believe it's 20. Let me go check that out. Or maybe it's 10, but it's a total of 20. Maybe that's what it is.
Why Janine say he got an ice box where his heart used to be?
Janine.
You are not funny, sis. You are not funny. You funny as hell. You funny as hell. I don't know. I don't know if that works.
20 songs.
I can understand why they put them together in terms of their singing. Yeah. But I don't know if the hits are there for it.
It says 20 song set. You have to put together a 20 song
set. That would be a stretch for me. And then, again, big shout out to my man Mario. I don't see that. Iman, do you see that? This is going to be a short verses.
That's all I'm gonna say. Let's go.
Unless they can do like 5 songs to each. And then next thing you know, they break out in the concert like, yo, we got a new album coming out together.
Maybe.
That could work.
Okay. We will have to see. We will have to see. I don't know. I really don't.
We love y'all, though. We love y'all.
I don't know if I don't. I think everybody got that same look. Everybody got that emoji like.
Yes.
Great music, but not
great music, great artists. They both can really sing without auto-tune stuff. So hands down, they are great artists.
It's gonna be an ab
numbers.
versus. They're gonna show their abs. That's what it's gonna be.
That's what they're gonna show, their abs.
They got 20 packs of abs. That's
again, I'm not, maybe Mario would just, Omarion, he gonna just come out there and show his locks and smile.
I guess.
With a fresh shape up, it's over. It's the end of that.
Mario looks good too. That's what I said. Wait a minute,
Mario does look good too. Hell.
Yes. Yeah. Can't sleep on him.
Not at all.
No, we're not. We can't sleep on him.
Not at all.
I just don't know where the hits are coming from.
The store. I don't know. I don't know.
All right.
Call me
All right. We will have to see. I'm going to tune in just to see how they play this out, because if you're going on Versus, that means you got a body of work.
Well, I'm shocked anyway, because they said Janet Jackson. Swiss B said Janet Jackson didn't have enough hits to do a Versus, but we got Omarion and Mark.
Wait a minute, who? Janet Jackson ain't got enough hit.
That's what.
Like Michael Jackson's sister?
Yeah.
Compared to who? You know who would be dope for Versus very quickly? You got to get maybe Janet and Mary.
Yeah, that could work. That could work if you put them together. But Janet don't be doing stuff like that though.
No, she don't be doing stuff like that. She getting to another level. Mary go for it, because Mary's still in the street.
I got on Mary. I got on Mary. Mary, she gonna come through with her.
Mary be like, what's the 411? Let's go.
Right.
Let's go. LFG, let's go. I'm a Mona Tejada that ass. All right, man, calm down. Calm down. All right. Mary, Mary, she pull up her boots. She be like, shit, I did the halftime show. I'm going to kill you. Okay. Mary, just relax. Relax, Mary. Mary be like, I ain't got no children to slow me down. Okay, Mary, okay. Damn. All right.
She can still kick that leg up in here.
She can still kick the legs up, man. She did that 2-step right there. And then
yeah,
they got to go after 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Commercial.
Right.
Next thing you know, you see Mary on the sofa like the Osley brothers. So my next hit. Yo. All right. Real quick. Yo, wow. All right, final thing. All right, Dave Chappelle announced that his alma mater, Duke Ellington School of the Arts, I went to the sister school, Baltimore School for the Arts, will not rename its theater after him in Washington, D.C., because all of the controversy steal from the closer and how students felt like they were hurt by the comedian.
Yeah, I actually applaud Dave Chappelle. I went to see him actually when he came.
At Maryland Live, right?
Live, yeah. Very, very, very good show. He has not missed a beat. But I will say this: I applaud him because this means that he is taking the voices of the children over himself, because it's a vanity thing to put your name on that building. So for him to even kind of be like, it's cool, because he just went and said, my name is not on it. I'm not going to fight it. I applaud him for that. Like, don't make the controversy the school around you. I applaud Dave.
So what you think, Iman? You think he did the right thing? Like, all right, that's cool.
Yeah. For the face of everything.
I don't think he believe that.
Yup.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Okay. That wasn't a full, complete answer, but okay. She just said, yup. She was like, yeah. Yep. Not a problem. Not a problem. Well, I like it. The theater is going to be called the Theater of Artistic Freedom and Expression. I thought what he said was really cool in the sense of, talking about the ongoing controversy around his comedy. He said, no matter what they say about The Closer, it is still one of the most watched specials on Netflix. He said, the more you say I can't say something, the more urgent it is for me to say it. It has nothing to do with what you are saying I can't say. It has everything to do with my freedom of artistic expression.
Always how they get this next one. Oh, it's about to go down. Oh, wait.
No, but see, this is the brilliance of Dave Chappelle. He understands that his role as a comedian is to say what people are afraid to say.
And he said it.
And he says it.
I support it.
For the sake of artistic expression, putting that first, saying he's not saying like, "Look, I'm phobic" or all of those. He's just saying for the sake of comedy, for the sake of artistic expression, I'ma say it. So he puts himself out there on that sword. I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty interesting. Brother King Lee says Sister Iman ain't hearing it.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, no.
I just, I let people be who people be.
Iman just sitting up there just like this. Whatever you guys say.
Yep.
We gotta get off the air. Oh, somebody. Oh, y'all talking about Mary and Mariah. Y'all will want to see Mary and Mariah on a versus battle very quickly. Would y'all see that?
Mariah will sweep her. Mary will sweep Mariah.
Not Mariah.
You mean with music or with her hands?
Both of them.
I don't like that one. I don't like that.
I don't think they're the same. I don't think you can't put Mariah. If may God be pleased with, if Whitney Houston was alive, I would put that against Mariah.
Ooh, now Whitney.
That's a versus. That's a
Whitney be like, let's go. You know how Mariah
Whitney too. Whitney was with
I don't
it.
do verses. You only could see mine in the commercial or my, you know what I mean? Whitney used to be like this. Bring the chair. Let's go.
Whitney was with
Bobby.
it. Right.
Bobby come running. Bobby wife like, what the hell? All right, ladies, I appreciate y'all so much. Thank y'all for spending some time with us, giving us your analysis. And Iman and Lise, thank you for being so good for the culture. We appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Love y'all. Love y'all.
Appreciate you. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us. Our time has been very well spent today. If you enjoyed the show as much as I think you have, make sure you show your support to us at blackstarnetwork.com. Support Black Star Network, unapologetic, unfiltered, and most importantly, we know exactly what we like to hear because why? At the end of the day, we're Black folks giving the news, having the conversations, and talking about the culture that relates to us. So make sure you show your support financially or by through shares and making sure you pass it on the word, letting people know. Download the app for free, and we will continue to do the programming that you love to tune into. All right. Stay tuned. At 6 o'clock is Roland Martin Unfiltered. As always, never be afraid to challenge what's wrong. Stand for what's right while being yourself in the process. God willing, we'll talk tomorrow. Big shout out to my team, Joel, Shannon, King Keenan, and Ariel. Thank you. And to my dynamic culture crew for the day, Iman, Heath, and Lise Winnie. Talk to you soon, folks. Have a great evening. And we'll talk tomorrow for another exciting edition of The Culture right here on the Black Star Network. Peace.
iPhone 13 on us for every customer. Current, new, everyone. To show the love.
How about sushi?
I just had sushi for lunch yesterday.
How about tacos?
Automatic emergency braking, one of 6 advanced safety features standard on every 2022 Chevy Equinox. Find new technology. Find new roads. Chevrolet.